It is an honor to introduce our first keynote. He is an accomplished technology executive with over 25 years of experience in leading technology organizations. Currently, the Chief Technology Officer at Cambio Group, he drives innovation and strategic initiatives. Previously, as CTO of Trustly, he enhanced scalability and time to market with a new target architecture. His leadership, including roles as Senior Vice President of Engineering, CIO, and Head of IT Operations, reflects his strong track record in industry certifications, as well as optimizing development and operational processes. Please join me in welcoming Ludvig Kolmodin as he shares his insights on AI in healthcare.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Ludvig Kolmodin. I'm the CTO of Cambio. I'm going to talk a bit about AI in healthcare today. So hope you will like the subject. I think it's a fascinating subject, and I think this is the future. So, the fourth industrial revolution has made a huge impact on our industry. And I think it has started already, and today I will talk about what's actually happening today, and also a bit about what's happening in the future. But we'll start with a short introduction of Cambio. So Cambio is a Swedish company providing software and services for the healthcare and social care markets, mainly in Scandinavia and Sweden and the Nordics. We are a growing business. We were founded already in 1993 by two engineers in Sweden, and we have been growing since then, and we are now a really big company, leading company in the healthcare industry in Sweden, with more than 70% of the market in Sweden. So our offices, of course, the majority of our offices are in Sweden because we're a Swedish company. But we also have offices in UK, in Denmark, and the biggest office actually is here in Colombo. Here's where we have more than 300 employees, and this is the main hub for our development. So software development takes place here in Colombo, and in total we're more than 1,000 employees. And our customers. So mainly we are based in Sweden, as I said, having 70% of the market there. But we also have customers in Denmark, in Åland, in UK, and also, of course, we are spread out. We have customers in New Zealand. Our ambitions is to become the biggest in the Nordics, but also continue to expand in Europe and the rest of the world. So today, I'm going to talk a bit about background in healthcare. I'll give you some examples of where we are today, and then the challenges with AI in healthcare, potentials as I see it, and next step and what might come in the future. So I will start with a bit of the background of healthcare. And I know it's different in different parts of the world. My experience and my presentations is mostly based on how it is in Europe, but I think there are a lot of similarities around the world. So, for hundreds of years we have had the same situation. When you get ill, the doctor comes to your house with medical skills, with a small bag of his tools, a generalist, that will support you. The benefit of that, of course, that if you were sick, if you were ill, you didn't have to go anywhere. You stayed at home and you provided, the services were provided to you. In line with the first industrial revolution, we started to build hospitals, putting all the medical skills in one place. Bad thing was, of course, that you had to bring yourself there even though you were injured or ill. But you got the possibility to meet experts, and you can get intensive care, and you get a more comprehensive health care. Now, healthcare is provided to you everywhere. With the IoT and technologies like video calls, remote monitoring, you can actually get the care that you need in your home. So with the right remote monitoring tools, with the instruments in your home, you will be able to get treatment, and you get the monitoring that you need at home. And this, when we enter the area of AI, so that's the next step of the evolution. So I will talk in short about what's already in place today. And there's actually a lot of AI-supported things out there. So what we have today that's already in place. I will start with talking about triage assessment. Triaging is the priority of a patient. So when you enter the emergency room or when you are in an ambulance, you have setting priorities. So depending on your medical history, your injuries, and compare that with other patients, you get the priority. So sometimes if you have that experience, when you enter the emergency room, you have to wait for hours, because that's depending on the priorities. People that seems to be less injured than you might have a higher priority based on their medical conditions. So today, these kind of priorities are actually set by AI. Patient diagnosis and medical imaging is something that is already in place. AI is very good at imaging. I'm going to talk a bit about more about that later on. Personalized treatment and care recommendation is quite commonly used across Europe. When you get your diagnosis and then you need a treatment program, there are hundreds of ways to get the rehabilitation or treatment programs and so on. And to set up the right program, AI is used. Speech interaction. To recognize speeches and conversations between doctors and patients. This is something that is highly used and very effective. It's actually part of Cambio's offering today. Clinical documentation and coding, also often in combination with speech recognition. It's a huge product. That's also something that is a part of Cambio's offering today. Healthcare management, I think this is an area where we really can use AI. It's not that risky. It's a lot of planning, patient flow management, etc. And there are multiple cases where it's used there. Population health, AI is used today to do simulations and predictions. Drug discovery, also for simulations. And medical research and clinical trials. There you have quite interesting experiments that you can do. One thing that you can do is to collect the data on an individual, create a digital twin, let AI do the test and experiments and predict the outcome on a digital view. So you don't have to risk yourself. And there are a lot of other technologies that you can combine with AI that's in place today, augmented and virtual reality tools. But I will give you some examples that's actually in place today. And most of these examples are taken from healthcare industry in Sweden, but I know that they are actually in place in many other areas in the world. So I'll start with this. This is a Swedish trial that were ongoing during 2023, where you had the breast cancer screening, and we had about 80,000 women taking part in this. And the trial was that you had AI and compared AI results with two double-reading radiologists, and it turned out that the AI found 20% more cancer cases than 2 double-reading radiologists. So it's very effective. What we also found in this trial was that if you could have the AI doing the work first, you offloaded the work for the humans and actually saved up to 40% of their time. So we're not planning to replace the radiologists, but to assist them. You can be more accurate and you can save a lot of the work. There is an additional test ongoing at the moment, including 100,000 women. And the research now is focused on to see how much of the cancer cases are missed and see if AI can improve that. That survey is ongoing, or trial is ongoing, and it's about to be completed in December this year. So I guess the outcome will be the same. AI is very superior. Documentation and coding is one big thing in the healthcare industry. And by using natural language processing in combination with AI, AI is able to extract clinical concept from a conversation between a doctor and a patient. And this is something that is in place today. It's part of Cambio's product. And AI turns out to be very accurate. And you know, when the doctor writes his notes, you have different languages, you have different dialects. It can be quite hard to translate that into clinical coding. But AI is very precise. So it saves a lot of time, and it becomes very accurate. And the products that are in place today, since they are based on AI, there is always risks. And in order to get these products approved, you cannot let the AI take the full responsibility. So in the conversation between a patient and a doctor, AI will pick out the clinical information, create the journal, and that is actually done and completed. But in order to be compliant, you need to have a doctor sign off, and then it can be used. So we're using AI, but we are not fully trusting it, so you need to have that sign off. Prevention of sepsis. Sepsis is blood poisoning, and this is something that is quite common that you get in intensive care departments. So here, this is another thing that has been developed and the implementation of a tool that is actually used at St. Göran's Hospital in Sweden, in Stockholm. It's used in parallel with other tools. So it picks up all the parameters from the measuring instruments at the department. You get the blood pressure, the oxygen level, your breathing, etc., and constantly evaluate the risk of getting blood poisoning. And collecting all these parameters, evolving the situation, and then it will come up with a score between 1 to 10. How likely is it that this patient developed blood poisoning during the next 3 hours? Score it between 1 to 10, and then you also have a confidence level of 1 to 10. So if you have a high risk of developing sepsis, and that the AI predict that this is, I'm pretty sure, and the score high. And the goal here is to detect any cases within 3 hours and to be able to act. You can also use AI to draw images and protect healthy organs when you have radiation therapy. So this is something that also has been tested. So when you have your cancer treatment with radiation, you don't want to have this radiation treatment on the wrong organs, because you want to only hit the damaged area. So by using AI to draw up the pictures in the images of the healthy organs, you can see exactly where the healthy organs are and the area that you need to treat. So by using that, you can get more precise. So this is something that is a test that is ongoing, and I just guess that AI will be superior to humans in this. And we also aim to save a lot of time. Fall injuries, a completely different area. And this is where AI is used, and you don't actually take much risk of using AI, because this is just an add-on. Fall injuries are actually quite a common thing in healthcare, especially at recovery units and units where you stay a long time. Patients that are sick tend to fall out of their beds, out walking, fall and injure themselves. And an innovation project in Gothenburg in Sweden tested an AI tool to read the movements of patients and learn about when a patient starts to move in a certain way. Is that the first step before they fall out of the bed, sit up or fall again? And this was a very successful project. It turned out the fall injuries during a year was decreased with 67%. So this experiment was conducted during 23, and during May 24, they actually decided that we'll implement this tool for the whole hospital region in Gothenburg in Sweden. So quite simple things that you can do with AI, but it really improves healthcare. Increased training is also an area. Here is a test that was ongoing to improve training, where we used AI in combination with smart glasses and virtual reality. And it's to put local anesthesia in the right place. So if you're going to put the needle into a nerve, a trained doctor will do that very accurate. But for a new doctor, you need assistance. And AI has been trained following skilled doctors, how they do this, and then they can, with virtual augmented reality glasses, it can show you and guide you to make a more precise injection. So these were some examples of what's ongoing and things that are in place today. But there are a lot of challenges. So this is a report from Gartner, leading research and advisory company in the IT business. They think that AI is not super effective in certain cases. They think it's very effective in content generations, in conversations, but most of the healthcare use cases is in the area where they say it's medium to low. So we really need to have that in mind, that the AI technology is not really mature. So you need to be very selective for the use case. You need to understand when you need to verify results. You need to understand which use cases where AI just supports and improve. And an interesting thing here, the survey in England revealed that 1 out of 5 doctors, 20% in the NHS primary care in England, actually consult ChatGPT. You have no idea if they're getting the right results. And you have no idea which kind of questions they ask. And they don't know how ChatGPT has been trained. So there is a lot of risks here today. Looking at where we are today also, this is Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, and this is how he thinks the AI will evolve. So we can see that we are just in the very beginning. So according to Sam, we are past level 1, chatbots. We're about to reach level 2. Then we have level 3 with agents, and level 4, which I think will be very interesting, where we believe that AI can be part of the invention process. You can get innovations from AI. And level 5, when you have a full organization set up with AI. And if you look at YouTube and, and look for virtual hospital, there are some experiments with AI bots, setting up, giving them different roles. You have the receptionist, you have the doctor, you have the patients, and you can have this like a self-playing organization. And you're sending in patients with different disorders, and the doctors treat them and then come out with a diagnosis. And you can also see that they improve over time. So it will become more and more advanced. That was just an experiment I found on YouTube, but I thought it was interesting. But we are just in the beginning. And I believe this will develop really fast. According to Sam Altman, we just entered level 2. And when we enter level 2, level 3 will become quite easily accessible, and then it will accelerate. But have in mind, we're just on the beginning of this journey. So 5 big challenges with AI in healthcare. Data privacy is one thing, because you need a lot of data to work on, but you also need to keep the patient's data private. Don't let it go into other people's hands. Biases in data is also quite a concern. If you train an AI on just a subset of the population, you will get biased data, and some people might get an unfair treatment. Lack of transparency. You don't really know how the AI come up with the answers. Can you really trust it? What information is it based on? Regulation and governance. We have a very, very trivial regulation today. And if you look at the European AI Act, it mostly say that AI is dangerous and shouldn't be used for healthcare. It must be more detailed, and we must have something that follows the evolution of AI. Another big issue is the lack of understanding. As I mentioned earlier, one out of 5 doctors consult ChatGPT today. Do they really understand the tool? Do they understand how dangerous it could be? I heard examples where nurses are using ChatGPT to understand the doses or the selection of medicine because they don't know themselves. Are they sure they're getting the right answers? But I think there is a lot of areas where you can use AI. Having this in mind, I will talk about some of the potentials. So we know that the AI models are not 100% correct, right? And even worse, we know that they hallucinate. If you try to give ChatGPT a Sudoku, they might solve it, and then you can see this is wrong, and then you ask it again, did you get it right? No. They make up answers sometimes. And then you can ask them to correct them, and then you get it right. But you cannot fully trust it. But I think there's multiple use cases where you can use GPT. And some thoughts that I have, you can really use it as an assistant. And these are use cases in place. But according to a study already in 2016, physicians spend 51% of the time in electronic health records. And we know that AI can be much more effective and more accurate. And also another study from 2019 found out that nurses spent 33% of their workday on administrative documentation. So I think you should use AI, but you should verify. Just as we do in some of the products that we have in Cambio today, use it for decoding, creating the journal, have a doctor sign off after reading it through. And also, if we can offload doctors and nurses, we make their life easier. A study have shown that many of the physicians think that administrative task is sort of the main reason for burnouts. So it can really offload and help. And as a knowledge bank, when you meet a doctor, you meet one doctor. He might be an expert in one area or a generalist. But with AI, you can take all the knowledge in the world and have it one source. So it has been tested, the GPT-4 has been able to set the right diagnosis for cases such rare as 1 to 100,000. So you just give it the input and then can find the right diagnosis on that. And just imagine if you have a very rare disease, how long do you have to wait to get the right diagnosis? And there is a lot of people today with undiagnosed diseases, not able to get the right treatment. They don't know where to go. Here, we have a great knowledge bank. And I think that we need to optimize our healthcare. And I think this is an area, it's a growing area all over the world. We have an aging population just giving higher pressure on the healthcare system. And you need to wait a long time to meet the doctor. And when you met the doctor, turn out you need to meet another doctor, and then you have to wait again. And I also think that with the right kind of assessment, you can avoid a lot of errors and the wrong treatments causing or harming or even killing people every year. So do really think that AI can help address these problems. When healthcare is not available, it's estimated that about half of the human population, about 4 billion people, don't have the adequate healthcare that they need. For a lot of disabled people, it's hard to go and see a doctor. And in many parts of the world, the only doctor you get to see is a generalist. He might not have any idea of your disorder. However, in the most remote and the most poorest places, you always have a mobile phone. And you would be able to have access to an AI. And it might not solve all the problem. It will not give you any physical treatment. You will not have any relationship management. But it could fill a significant gap. You could get an idea what's wrong with you. You could know what kind of medicine you need. So it could fill a gap. So I think that there is a lot of things that you can do, but regulations and training is really necessary. You can use it where there's no other alternatives to assist, but do not trust the results. They do hallucinate. And I think it's very important that you have that in mind. And verify the results. So, what's next? My prediction. I think prediction will be utilized more and more. Predict what's going to happen to you. And when you can predict, you can prevent. If you prevent, you can make people stay out of the healthcare system. And that will optimize the healthcare system. Precision medicine is something that I believe will come more and more also. Drugs tailored to fit you based on your input. And then one thing that I think will happen more and more also, it's the interaction between you and the doctor. If you have been to a doctor recently, you notice that you're sitting at the computer, writing and typing things. But if you can have an AI listening to your conversation, coming up with suggestions, you will actually be able to talk to the doctor, and the doctor doesn't have to talk to the screen. So that is what I believe the future will look like. And before we take any questions, I just want to say that AI is not only part of the products and the programs in the healthcare, it's everywhere, as we know. And at Cambio, we not only have the products with AI, we also use it within our software development. So here in Colombo, we have 300 developers using Copilot, Microsoft Copilot, Git Copilot, assisting them in the development. So we're using it for generating unit test cases. We're using it for suggestions when you code. We're using it to sort out bugs, finding dependencies. And we introduced this spring, and it turned out after about half a year of usage, we can see about a 10% improvement in efficiency. It takes some time to measure this. So we measure the throughput and we measure the quality, the number of bugs. I would say it's a bit too early to say it's a success, but all trends pointing in the right direction. So we do have AI also in development of AI-based products. So that was my thoughts about AI in healthcare. And now if you have any questions, I'm done.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring talk. My name is Ludvig. I will talk about open source later this day. And you stated the message that it's not just using AI, but verify results. And my question is, what is Cambio doing in the sense perhaps of open source to give the transparency for verifying exactly this in the products of Cambio?
Oh, that was a good question. The products that we have today is mostly speech recognition, and it's not based on open source. It's a partnership with Microsoft mainly. So I wouldn't say Microsoft is an open source company in that way. But what's important for Cambio is to create trust. So any products that we use, we need to make sure that we have a trustworthy partner. And when it comes to data, it's also something that is very sensitive. We need to prove that we secure data, and we must show what the data is coming from. And data is, especially in Europe, highly regulated. So you can never leave the patient data to a third party. You need to be in control of your own data. So yeah, I hope I answered your question to some extent at least. Thank you.
So you mentioned about chatbots. So can I know your thought on using AI chatbots in domains of mental health, like an AI therapist?
I think that using ChatGPT or AI bots as an advisor it can be really helpful. But I think discussions that we have had is that you need to be in control of the data it has been trained on. And if you're going to use it just access it from the web, you cannot really trust the results. So you need to make sure that you train your own models. But again, the advices that you get from it cannot 100% be trusted. You need to verify it. Even though they probably in most cases are far better than a human, but you need to trust the results.
Maybe I come next. I don't know if you can hear me, but thank you very much. Very nice talk. You did not actually mention robots, so I was wondering a bit what you think about, do like robots have a place in healthcare? And if you're looking far ahead, will robots do some simple surgery at some point?
Robots are not really my area. I think that we will get in there, especially when it comes to surgery. We already have a lot of tools that offloading humans. You can actually do remote surgeries today where you're actually not sitting in the same room. Having robots taking over, I think that is coming because the robots and AI-based robots in the future will be far more accurate than humans. We're not there yet, but I believe it's coming. For Cambio, we're not looking into physical machines like that. We're more into the software part, but it's a connected area, and I believe we will rapidly move into something new. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm agreeing that about that thing that you told about data hallucination. So really, it's actually true that 50% of the time that I also see the data hallucination part. So what if, like, where are we? Like, let's say now there is a chatbot where they could say exactly, okay, this particular, based on this particular book, that they could extract some sort of information, and they have all the patient cases where, let's say for an example, the patient has a weight less than 40 kilograms, and they could live with a very lower heart rate at least 1 day. So there are special cases like that. So what if the AI, the chatbot could say the logical reasoning, like most of the time that I see the probability, but what if the logical understanding, where are we, like in this research, where are we, like when can we go to that phase? Like in your cases, were you able to like have that, like show the logical reasonings behind this decision making? Like I know that explainable AI is there, but it still shows it still identified the highest probability of for this particular decision in the model. So, but the interpretability of where and why we took this answer is like, where are we in this reason?
Okay, that was a long question. I will try to.
Yes. Yeah, I would like to know about that, the wrong thing about that question too.
So just thinking about how you can train them and what data they are based on, you can give a lot of input to an AI model, asking them for the result. What you can do, you can actually have AI verifying itself, which I think is a good thing, and you can also ask them to give an answer to how they are based, which information they base their information on. So there are multiple ways to verify the result. I think you should always verify results with another human that has some knowledge about the subject. But letting AI verify itself, you can ask them which document are the information based on. Is there research papers that can sort of back up your arguments? And you can also ask them for related articles that shows the same results as them. So I think you can use AI to support you in verifying the results. Yeah, I don't know if I answered your question, but that's an answer at least. Thank you.
Yeah. So actually, so first of all, I would like to thank you, like nice set of words that you have actually told about the AI in health. Yeah. So my question is, like, I mean, as a certified engineer and as well as the co-founder, like startup, like we are also doing like the healthcare products as well. So two couple of general questions. So the first question is, you know, when I am before couple of months ago, the Oxford University, so they have found out like there's a research study that able to detect heart disease, the heart attack like characteristic before 10 years ago. So that was like a groundbreaking research. So in Europe, like, what do you think about this kind of like attack prevention, attack prediction? So according to your knowledge and your industrial expertise, so how do you think like Europe actually, how well ahead of the race of this prediction cancers and like diseases? So that was my first question. And the second question is, so what do you think about the data security of the patient data? Because like one of the critical data, if we see in the overall industry, the first one is the financial data and the health data. So those two are very like critical data. So even the pharmaceutical has like special laws to protect the data. So what do you think, like you have mentioned the European AI the Act as well. So what do you think, like how likely to be the companies like healthcare companies like protect this data and work on well? So that's my second question.
Treat data, and it's you need data in order to train any connection to the real patient. And that is something that we work with a lot in Cambio. We need a lot of data to test our products, and you need to make sure you have proper data, and you need to have synthetic test data. So it is a challenge, but you need to find your way around that. And then as a patient, you also need to, of course, provide your data if you're going to get the right treatment. But it's a big challenge for the whole business. If data was free, it would be much more easy, right? When it comes to different research and finding, you mentioned something about heart attacks. In general, I think we are in the early stage of all this kind of research. We find amazing results, and you can see that AI can support you in many ways, and it's often very superior to what you can do as a human being. And I think we are just in the early stages. We will have this more and more introduced into our products, and it will offload the physicians and the healthcare system. But I think we need to wait just a few years where we really have this fully automatically implemented, because we do use it today, but we don't trust it. And I think we are actually doing the right thing. I think we should embrace the new technologies, but we are not mature enough. So if we don't continue to monitor this, we might sort of derail, and people will die. So we need to mature. In a few years, I think when the technologies have been more matured, we have better regulation, it will be fully implemented. Thank you. So unless there are no more questions, I would like to say thank you very much.